book of Exodus contains many types and shadows of things that would come. Moses and Jesus are both deliverers. God sent his only begotten Son into this world to free us from sin and death. God sends Moses to deliver the children of Israel from their bondage. Jesus leads us to salvation through the waters of baptism, just as Moses led the children of Israel to their freedom through the Red Sea. Jesus speaks the things of the Father, just as Moses delivers unto the children of Israel the law on Mount Sinai. Jesus walks with Christians through the wilderness of this life, just as Moses led the children of Israel through the wilderness for 40 years. Jesus leads us through that wilderness into the promised land, just as Moses led them to the foot of the promised land, where they could enter in and inherit the land prepared for them, just as we get to inherit everlasting life in a home that Christ has prepared for us. In Exodus chapter 2, we see one of the first glaring examples of this typology in the book of Exodus. Moses has killed an Egyptian slave driver for beating one of the Hebrew slaves. Out of fear of what the Pharaoh might do to him, he flees into the land of Midian. There it says he sits down at a well. And at some point come along these 7 daughters of a man named Jethro. Now it seems through the text that what is about to transpire is something that happens very frequently. As the 7 daughters come to water their flocks, to draw water from the well for the troughs of their father's flocks, these other shepherds come and drive them away. And then they allow their flocks to be watered by the water that the 7 daughters of Jethro have drawn out of the well and poured into the troughs. But on this occasion, Moses stands up and defends them. He drives them away, and he draws out water and pours it into the trough to water the 7 daughters' flocks. Now, Christ does the same thing. We remember that Christ sits down at the well and talks to the Samaritan woman about the waters of life that he would draw out and give to the people. Jesus draws out water for us and waters us with a water that will allow us to never thirst again. But back to our text here in Exodus chapter 2. What happens is the 7 daughters return home, and Jethro's concerned or curious as to why they're back so soon. It seems that what had transpired with these other shepherds coming at the same time the 7 daughters had come to water their flocks was a typical situation. But the daughters have come back much sooner than they normally do, and their father wants to know why they're back so soon. And they tell him about this Egyptian in verse 19 who delivered them from the hands of the shepherds, and what more is, he even drew out the water for us and watered the flocks. And then here's the important part that I want us to consider today. He says to his daughters, "Where is he then? Why is it that you have left the man behind? Invite him to come and have something to eat." You know, for those of us who are Christians, it's very typical for many to realize Christ's deliverance. We come to know Christ as our defender and our Savior. He draws out water and waters his flocks, and we're grateful. But then we go home, and we leave him behind. Maybe we should ask the same question that Jethro's father asks these 7 daughters. Where is Christ? Why have you left him behind? Should you not call him to come and dine with you? You see, Christianity is more than just a 3 or 24-hour-a-week life. It's a life that must be lived every day. A relationship with Jesus doesn't just occur on Sundays. A relationship with Jesus is a relationship that's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. But many come to Christ and then leave and go home and leave him behind. Isn't that sad? That the one who came to deliver us from sin, to give us waters of life, is left behind and doesn't have a part in our lives. The reality is, if Jesus doesn't have a part in our lives, then we have no part in him. You see, Jesus wants to have a relationship with us in every sense of the word. He wants us to live for him and with him. Jesus says that except we die to ourselves and take up our cross daily, we cannot be his disciples. The Apostle Paul writes to the church at Ephesus and tells them that they need to walk worthy of the calling with which they were called. You see, Christianity is an everyday walk. A relationship with Jesus is something that happens every day of our lives. And so maybe we need to stop and reflect on our relationship with the Lord. Why have we left him behind? Where is he? Does he have part in every aspect of our lives? Does he have part in our marriages? Does he have part in our raising of our children? Does he have part in the work and the labor of our hands in this life? Does he have a part in the entertainment and the pleasures and the extracurricular activities of our lives? Does Jesus have a part in our worship, our praise, our service? To be a disciple of Christ means to be a follower of him. And we can't be a disciple if we're not following him every day. So let us ask, where is he? Why have we left him behind? And let us call for him to come in and dine with us, to live with us, to be a part of every aspect of our lives.